I'm really annoyed. I'm really mad. Yeah, I don't feel good about it. I'm very mad.
Well, welcome again to Chino Y Chicano. I'm Enrique Serna. Well, coming up, my conversation with Seattle artist Erin Shigaki about a mural she created in 2020 for Bellevue College. The mural, titled Never Again Is Now, depicts two Japanese American children in a World War II incarceration camp. It also included an informational panel referencing the role of local businessman Miller Freeman in promoting anti-Japanese sentiment during that era. Now, after the mural was unveiled, that reference was removed, sparking community backlash. Two Bellevue College administrators, President Jerry Weber and Vice President Gayle Colston Barge, eventually resigned following the decision. Now, 6 years later, a rededication of the mural is planned, but once again, controversy has emerged, this time over a racist voicemail and questions about why it took so long for the college to respond. Here now is my conversation with artist Erin Shigaki. I gotta imagine that to some degree, all of this stuff, it's lasts so long and the controversy around this mural and still kind of going. How do you feel about it?
I'm really annoyed. I'm really mad. I'm super irritated that 6 years later, this place is taking up so much of my brain space, you know? I'm like in and out of meetings. I'm like having to deal with the feelings and desires of staff people, dealing with the administration of the college, and not to mention, myself and then community members who are like, what is it going to happen? Are we going to have a ceremony? What's going on? Yeah, I don't feel good about it. I'm very mad.
And on top of this, you had the controversy when it was first unveiled, in 2020? We'll talk about that more. Now here we are, 2026. News came out, a statement from Bellevue College about a racist voicemail that was left. I read the text of that racist voicemail. It was definitely racist. It was very profane. It was awful. But just the fact that that still generates that kind of hate, it boggles the mind after all these years, and also in this time, especially when we're dealing with issues of immigration and immigrants being detained, arrested, deported. That's got to be extremely irritating.
Yeah, and it's showing me once again how tied our stories are, right? Like this kind of sentiment where the gentleman caller, called me the J word 6 times and listed a bunch of war crimes of Japan. Again, I'm American born. And also, one of those strong echoes that has lasted longer than most of the other things he said is that go back to where you're from sentiment that only white people can say, it seems like. It's just like, you don't even make sense. But that, right? That's not an argument. That's not an argument that Trump or any other white person who's saying that we are forever foreigners, that we don't belong in this country, that we're not doing our part, put out there, like they don't claim their own immigrant roots. And they refuse to accept that we are all immigrants except indigenous folks. Like I know I'm like a colonial Japanese American immigrant. Like that's what my family is from. I know that. And I own that.
at least as a Mexican American, I can point to the fact that Mexico used to own part, have part of the U.S.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The border crossed you.
right.
The border crossed you, brother.
I actually, too bad I don't have it here right here, but I have a hat that has it looks like a MAGA hat with the Trump type of thing on it, except it says "Make America Mexico Again."
I want that
Anyway,
hat.
yeah,
I want that.
I'll let you borrow it.
Thanks, man.
But let's talk about I guess also the response from the college that they did issue a statement recently, kind of acknowledging that this racist voicemail had been uh, called in, and how they also were saying that this is not something that the college wants represented, connected to it, and things like that. But you were irritated about their response, or maybe their time, how timely or untimely they responded.
Yeah, the call came in the same night as this press conference we had announcing that a permanent version of the mural is coming onto campus. And my parents were there and some other people from the community, and I spoke um, and I spoke from the heart, about what happened in 2020 and how hard it was. And then I spoke about um, how the work isn't just for the Japanese American community, it's like to tell how interwoven all of these stories of detention and incarceration and family separation are from the start, right? And super present today with
Right.
what's going on, with Trump's ICE. Um, and, you know, I thought that the college reacted with um, a lot of respect. I think there were some people at the college that were surprised that Stan Shikuma and I were up there talking about these interwoven messages. But
Tell me who Stan is.
Stan Shikuma is one of my activist mentors. He's involved with many civil rights organizations. Right now, we organize heavily together with Sudo for Solidarity, which is a Japanese American group that's working to end detention and ICE facilities, working toward Black reparations and working toward healing. Like everyone forgets that piece that we
Right.
need healing from all these things that have happened. Um, yeah. So anyway, it was a great event. And then the hate message came in that night on the president's voicemail. Um, they gave me a heads up about it 5 days later, and I had a chat with the president a couple days after that, and then they didn't put anything out to their own community, which is 28% Asian heritage, 13% of the staff is Asian heritage. Um, yeah, and then the next day, the 44th day, they put out a press release saying that this message came in and, that they don't uphold any of that kind of language. And it is the timing. It's mostly the timing. Like they could have just put out those statements right away, as simple as they are, to protect their folks. Um, but the silence is deadly. You know that, right? Like staying silent, what does that remind me of? That reminds me of like how my whole community was just rounded up and not enough people stood up.
Yeah.
The silence of complacency, of compliance, of like, oh, well, I don't, like I better not say anything because I gotta hold on to what's mine, you know?
So tell me about your conversation with the Bellevue College president, and tell me who the college president is, and David May, right?
Yeah, his name is Dr. David May. And well, it was a good conversation. It was a one-on-one Zoom, and he he was appropriately mortified and sorry, and he asked me what I wanted to happen. And, one of the things was, I think you need to tell the community, your community, the community. Um, and then we talked about sort of other logistical things like, what if the Bellevue police found out? How many Bellevue police officers are going to be at the unveiling event? What else do I need to feel comfortable?
Right.
So I just feel like, okay, well, you virtually ignored my number one ask. So I'm just left feeling kind of unconfident.
So, what was the reasoning that you heard, or have you heard, as to why it took them so long
I don't think
to?
I've heard. I don't know. I don't know what it is. If they said something about it,
And what were the number
finally
of days now? How long did it take again? I'm sorry.
40, 43, let's just say 40 over a month.
Okay. Okay. And so I take it you've talked to them about that as to why did it take so long, or have they told you that?
We haven't had our meeting yet. We're meeting this week.
Yeah. I imagine they're going to have a real fun time dealing with you because you look really pissed.
Yeah. Have you ever seen me this mad?
No, I never have actually. I've never seen you this mad at all. In fact, I've never seen you where you look. Usually it's always smiling Erin, who's always very positive, the one that I know for the most part. But and I guess in these times being, yeah, I would be too, because it's not only the work you do, it's what it represents, but especially in these times, I think you got to call this stuff out.
Right.
Yeah.
And did they think I wasn't going to call it out? It's like,
Well, I don't know.
did you look back and see what happened in 2020 and the media that censorship of my work garnered? They are so lucky that the freaking pandemic came around because, you know, I think the story would have kept going. It was starting to get national legs.
Let's go back to 2020. Okay, first of all, when were you commissioned to do this work?
I guess it must have been at the end of 2019. I was commissioned to put up a mural commemorating executive order, the signing of Executive 9066, which allowed the mass incarceration of Japanese Americans on the West Coast.
And how did that commissioning all come about?
A group of Asian American faculty and staff came together and decided that they wanted to do something to honor that date, and to provide education about it for their students.
And how long did it take you to do the mural or come up with the idea of the mural? I mean, or did you pretty much know what you wanted to do?
They knew because I had already put up an almost identical version at Densho, and the mural at that time consisted of a large bond paper output of a very poignant Dorothea Lange photo that she took of a family going into one of the preliminary concentration camps in California, Turlock, California, I think. And I had zoomed in on these two children, a brother and sister, by appearances. We don't know their names still. Um, and their very frightened faces and just the youth of them.
Right. Yeah. And so you went through the process of doing this. The mural went up, but where in the campus was it originally?
Right by the cafeteria, there's a fountain there, so it's a courtyard. It's a good prominent place. I also put up a banner that said "Never again is now," which is a slogan that the community uses. I think Jewish American community uses it also. It's
Right.
okay. We can share a slogan.
So it was a pretty trafficked area. People would have seen it, and it was tall, so
It
it's,
was
yeah, right.
tall,
Yeah.
11 feet tall. Yeah, and then as I always do, there was a piece of interpretation,
Right.
just maybe a roughly 11 by 17 talking about uh, the Japanese American community in Bellevue, just a very brief history, and calling out the name of the so-called godfather of Bellevue, Miller Freeman, because he had long been an anti-Japanese agitator on the East Side. And after Pearl Harbor was bombed, he really went in whole hog for the removal of Japanese American people.
And property. Did he, wasn't that part of this?
That is part of it. It is surmised that there was a large land grab, um, because all of a sudden, the Freeman family then owned most of what is now downtown Bellevue.
So, did they respond quickly once that was put up to complain about it, or did the college itself and its administrators at the time decide on their own to eliminate that sentence from the explanation there of the mural?
It seems that the college administrators themselves decided, because it was one of the vice presidents herself who walked up to it in broad daylight with her little jar of whiteout.
And whited it out right there.
She whited it out with whiteout.
How long after it went up did that happen?
Oh my gosh, it was just a few days.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when did you find out about that?
I was in Tacoma at the Northwest Detention Center at a protest.
Very apropos, huh?
And one of the Bellevue College administrators whom I'd worked with to put it up told me. And I was like, what?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. We were having a day of remembrance rally at the Northwest Detention Center in solidarity with folks inside.
Then what happened? What'd you do then after you found out about this? Did you have the same look that you have in your face right now?
I was, it was hard. I went through many moments of confusion and not understanding. I got a lot of advice from people in the community, about what to do. Um, I can't remember what the timeline was, but we decided that there needed to be a community uh, driven ceremony there, because after it sort of leaked to the press, and it was, that it was a good story.
Yeah.
Um, the Bellevue College board wanted to kind of take control of the narrative, and a bunch of people helped me get behind creating our own ceremony where we talked about it, and our survivors came, and we involved Bellevue College students of color, and yeah, and then I put up a new sign.
But you were at the initial ceremony, right? When they put it up? Or did
There was no ceremony. I just put it
they
up.
just put it up? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So you
there was no ceremony like there's gonna be this time. It was
okay.
just, you know, I
You've been
I
commissioned.
got, yeah, it was just a few $1,000, and me and my buddy Alexis were on a ladder putting it up.
So in the end, what happened was that the administrators involved, the president at the time, who was Jerry Weber, I think that, did I get that right? Jerry
I don't
Weber?
know. Yeah.
Okay. And the vice president, Gayle Colston Barge, ended up resigning their positions because of this and the outrage that happened after that.
Yeah.
So how did it come about to do a rededication and to where we are now? 6 years later,
Um,
6 years later, by the
6 years
way.
later, yeah, I had gone back and talked on campus um, when Governor Gary Locke was the interim president. Um, I think he made a lot of changes on that campus. And then I think there were other people who have always been behind the project. I think there's been sort of a consistent call for more ethnic studies. It's a lot of that. Um, Education has been cut from Bellevue College, and I can't really speak to the particulars of that. Um, yeah, so I'm not sure who actually made the push, but I found myself invited to put up a permanent version of it.
So where are we now? Where is it now? Where is the permanent version, and where folks can see it on the campus?
Oh, it's being fabricated now, and I was thinking about not having the unveiling ceremony because I just felt like I was fetching and stepping, for lack of better terminology. Uh, some younger people won't know what that means. It's okay.
I'm sure that if they look to someone a little older, my age range, someone will tell them what that means. And yeah.
Yeah, so yes, this unveiling ceremony is slated to happen on May 14th at 2 p.m. And I
Are you saying you're not going to be there? Are you that
No,
angry?
I'm gonna be there. I agreed to be there.
Okay.
I was thinking of just calling it off, but after they finally issued the statement, I'm gonna go forward. I'm gonna go forward because I love my community. You know, this is a community that was devastated during the war, right? Like lost property, uh lost their pets, lost all of the things that they had worked for. Um, many since like my family coming at the turn of the century, right, to this country and helping to build things like the railroad and dig out tree stumps and grow produce. Um, but this community, despite being unconstitutionally rounded up and jailed for up to 3.5 years, like my paternal family was, um, made it for the most part, made it out. And enough people came back to the Seattle area that I got to grow up in a Japanese American community. It was never the same
Right.
anywhere,
Right.
but as you know, because you like to run with the
Right.
Japanese Americans, it is a very vibrant
I'm a
community.
very diverse guy that likes to be with everybody.
Heck
You know?
yeah, we're so glad. We're so glad.
Well, but you can also see your work that is in the CID. It's in the area that used to be the Japantown,
Hmm.
and which again, some of your work there, the mural that you created there, has also been the target of people defacing it, and it's had to be. It seems to be an ongoing thing that we have to deal with this stuff. One thing I do want to say is that I do want to give you a shout out and everybody else within uh, the Japanese community, Japanese American community, and the Asian community overall that have been there to support the Latino community and La Resistencia in the work that they've been doing to, you know, point out the issues of those that have been incarcerated and being detained at like the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma, and as well as those that have been, deported. And let's face it, we are in a time when what happened back in the 40s to Japanese Americans in this country, but Latinos in this country have actually lost lives in this
Yeah.
process. So I don't think that we can forget that part of it at all. So I think I hope that people will realize that and speak out about it because it's this is not American or America. I don't
Right.
think so. Yeah.
Right.
So where are we stand now? You're going to go to the ceremony. At least the statement has come out about what had happened in after the word got out about rededication and that racist voicemail. Um, eh, what now? What,
Well,
What do you want from people, I guess, that would be watching this podcast, understanding what has happened and why you're upset?
I don't want anyone's pity. But I really want people to understand the work that I'm doing, right? It's to bring light to this piece of history that has consistently been undertaught, um, a little bit erased, by design of the American government, because Americans don't like to feel bad and don't like to learn from their mistakes, just like Bellevue College. Um, and I think we should. I think we should like look at it all. And I think that it would behoove us all to really make that connection. Chattel slavery, Indian boarding school, Japanese American incarceration, what's happening with Trump's ICE right now. As you said, the Northwest Detention Center. We're also doing work at the King County Airport, which is where these deportation flights are flying out from 4 times a week. More than 5,000 people were deported last year. And the King County taxpayers are paying for it financially and morally. Like this is on our heads just because what went on in Minneapolis hasn't happened yet here
Yeah.
doesn't mean that ICE isn't here.
Oh, ICE is here. There's no doubt about
ICE is
that.
here.
Yeah, they are here, and it could be, what kind of level, and could it be like Minneapolis? Possibly. We don't know that yet, but it could very much be. I'm actually taken by the poster that you have, or the behind you, that says, "What kind of ancestors do we want to be?" I think that that's very apropos in our conversation right now. I also want to point out the fact that this country is changing, which people of color are going to be the majority, which I'm sure we're not going anywhere. So that's something to remember and to say. One final word. Got any last things to say, just to the folks out there? Come to your rededication.
Yeah, let's flood the campus and see each other and take care of each other. I know I was mostly angry during this recording, but I do believe in the power of community care. The ancestors, oops, wrong hand. There it is. And what we are doing now is going to determine the future, for the next generations. And that's why it's important for our humanity.
Yeah. All right, Erin Shigaki, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about this. I think it's important to talk about this because of what happened 6 years ago, to remember how we even got to this point of even a rededication, and also what happened in response to this when the news came out that it was going to be rededicated, and the fact that there are still some hateful voices out there, unfortunately. But if we don't address that, I don't think we'll make any progress. So thanks for taking the time to talk to me. All right.
Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
All right. Take a deep breath and give me that smile that you usually have. There you go.
Okay, wait, let's go to lunch now.
Okay. Erin Shigaki, thank you so much.